Cred, not fucking Facebook.
There we go.
Fourth quarter, Felger here in Boston. ESPN Radio's Nick Cattles down in Virginia Beach. Patriots up 26-0 to begin the fourth quarter. I think this fuckball of a game speaks for itself. Nick, what are your opening thoughts?
Yeah, a complete clusterfuck for the Jets. Adam Gase, his team's totally unprepared. Sam Darnold shitting his pants. I mean, the Patriots coming into this game, like, they blitz over 30% of the time, and it's like the Jets were completely unprepared for the blitz. Every single time the Pats blitz, there's a free guy running at Sam Darnold, like a bat out of hell. It's a terrible coaching job, one of the worst quarterback performances I've seen maybe ever, and really just obviously a beat down in Jersey.
Starts with the coaching. I'm glad you mentioned the coach first. I mean, Darnold's horrible, but he has no chance in this game. None.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to watching the Eagles-Cowboys game last night when the Eagles go out there just totally unprepared. Doug Peterson didn't have his team to play after, yapping on the radio, guaranteeing a win earlier in the week. I mean, this is just Adam Gase. And Booger McFarland, say what you will about the guy. I'm not the biggest fan of this broadcast team, but McFarland brought up a great idea, and that's, hey, why don't you throw a couple of quick slants, a couple of quick passes, get it out of Darnold's hands. They're running a lot of downfield routes, and it's just Darnold doesn't have the time. It's terrible coaching.
Yeah, absolutely 100% start with Gase before I start with Darnold. It's, this is the kind of game that you don't know what kind of quarterback he is. And again, it's an absolutely wretched performance, but he's not put in a position to succeed. Young guy. This is, 10th start. I mean, I don't know how many starts has he had as an NFL player. What, this is 16?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So his 16th NFL start, he's not going to be able to diagnose half that stuff. He's put in no position to succeed. The team is completely overmatched brain power-wise.
Yeah, and the offensive line's bad. They've dealt with injuries and their own issues on the O-line in front of them. So it's just a combination. It's a perfect storm when you have a shitty offensive line in front of you. You've got a bad coaching staff not putting you in a position to succeed. And then you yourself make some bad decisions and just, terrible footwork. That off the back foot prayer that he threw in the end zone, Terrence Brooks, who I didn't even know he was on the fucking roster, gets the pick in the end zone. It's an affair. I'd also like to say, I don't know why. I know why Brady's still in the game, but if you're going to keep Brady in the game, I'd rather just hand the ball off and go 3 and out if you got to, because he's taken at least 6 or 7 shots the last 5-6 minutes of this game, completely unnecessary.
Which is true. Yep, and he is just handing it off. All right, folks, you can join us on the fan line, upper right-hand corner of your screen. You can join us on your smartphone. We have a dress code, which means we generally want you dressed, but James in California likes to go shirtless, so that's fine. That's fine. We'll also, I'm seeing your chats right here. We'll pull up James in California, Cam, if you could. I have your comments here as well. We'll answer those as we go on. But James in California is supposed to be there. Hey, James, what's up, kid?
Do you think we're going to get a wide receiver?
I do. I think you're going to try. I don't know how much you need one. Do you watch Jacoby Myers today, James?
Well, yeah, but I just still think we need a wide receiver for, big games. I don't know.
James, you get a haircut there, kid.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for noticing.
No, your hair looks good. Still,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think you trimmed back the man cheese a little bit, too. You brought it down a little.
But
right,
what about a lineman?
Okay, so I'd rather go – James, thanks for the call. I'd rather go lineman than receiver. If Brady just trusted Myers, I think you're seeing it tonight. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that Myers has caught every ball thrown to him. And he was 4 for 4 last week. I think he's probably something like 5 for 5 today with a couple of flags drawn.
Yeah.
If Brady just trusted Myers, and if everyone else are healthy, I think they have enough.
And Felger, it's not like, sometimes you see statistics of these wide receivers for the Patriots, and, it's 5 targets, 5 catches, but it's a lot of easy bubble screens. It's schemed into the play, not with Myers. I mean, he makes hands catches on that slant, all hands. Brady zipped it, and it was away from him, and they pulled it in. He made, he's made a number of impressive catches the last 2 weeks, which, it looks like Brady is starting to trust him a little bit more, which is nice to see. And I also want to bring up Philip Dorsett. Sometimes he gets overlooked. He had the touchdown catch tonight. He had a nice catch on the sidelines. No, he's not a number 1 guy. But, if you get N'Keal Harry back, Gordon gets healthy, Edelman gets a little bit healthier, you're looking at 4 or 5 guys. With that said, though, if you could get Emmanuel Sanders for a 5th-round pick or 6th-round pick, I still do it.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and do something, but I honestly don't think they need to, not with this defense. Christian in Connecticut is going to join us next on the fan line. When he jumps off, you can jump on, and we can see your pretty face as the Patriots just scored another touchdown here to make it 34-0. Christian in Connecticut. What do you got there, Chris?
Well, first off, I'm flattered that you think I'm pretty, so thank you so much for that. The one thing I've noticed about this, they've played a bunch of dog shit early on in this year, which has actually helped sort of, if you want, Jacoby Myers get into the fold, at least in terms of this game. But when I look at this receiving core, I think of 2014. Like, if Josh Gordon can be, when he comes back, I don't need him to be Josh Gordon like he was in the Browns. If he can be like a Brandon LaFell, and then if you can sort of supplement Myers and Dorsett and almost that Amendola role, Edelman's going to be Edelman, assuming health. Could Ben Watson give you 65, 70% of Gronk and be okay? Looking at this, I think that their offensive weapons aren't that bad. I mean, they have to get worked in, but I think they're, going off of this, as long as Brady keeps his attitude in check and actually trusts his receivers and his weapons, I think they may have enough offensively where, quite frankly, invest in the line over an offensive weapon.
Christian, thanks for the call. I agree 100%. And again, it's got to be in the context of this defense. If this were, I don't know, some of these past years, Nick, where the defense was good but not great and you had to score in the 30s to win these games, I'd say, yeah, you got to go get a receiver. You got to score in the 30s. They don't got to score in the 30s this year. They don't got to do that.
Yeah,
the strength of the team has flipped a little bit to the other side of the ball, which is just fine. So offensive line to me is a bigger need than wide receiver, and I think they can scheme guys open most of the time, like tonight.
The problem with the offensive line is I don't know who's available. I mean, the one name that's been thrown out there is Trent Williams. Mike Garafolo over the weekend saying that the Browns have called the Redskins every single week since Williams started his holdout. And every single time he's called, Bruce Allen has shut it down. So for whatever reason, which I just think is stupidity because the Skins organization is a pile of shit and it's run by a clown, they're not looking to trade Trent Williams. If I was the Skins, I'd be trying to trade everybody I could to try to reload that team. But if they're going to be pains in the asses, then I don't know who's available, who you could go out and get. I think, if you can't get Williams – Is a moderate upgrade worth it? You hope that Isaiah Wynn gets healthy. You hope that Scarnecchia coaches these guys up, and you hope that the other guys play a little bit better. I mean, I think that's where they might be stuck. I don't know if there's a left tackle on the market that's going to be able to just, plug and play, and that guy is going to be legitimate.
Nick, so Aaron asks, there's another high ball by Darnold. Aaron asks, does the run D scare you at all? Because Le'Veon Bell did get a little bit here tonight.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I think we expect so much out of this defense at this point. I think it's actually pretty impressive that they keep their foot on the pedal. And that might sound a little cliche, but it's true. I mean, how many teams do you see, even in the NFL, they tend to relax? And one play that stood out to me in the third quarter early on, it's a blowout game. The Patriots are walking away with this. And, the Jets string together a couple of plays. They get a couple of first downs. And McCourty comes up to the line of scrimmage and makes a tackle on Bell, and he's screaming. And he's trying to get his guys to get going, which I think, that does mean something. It's a guy who, hey, this is a blowout in New Jersey. The defense has been so dominant, they could pack the bags and say, okay, guys, let's, the night is over. But McCourty trying to show that urgency and trying to let the guys know, listen, we're not going to rest. We're going to finish this game out. And I think those kinds of things build habits. When you play better teams later in the season, you're going to get that focus, intensity, and urgency all the time from them.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. I just think the game's a throwaway. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think we're getting if they had to stop the run, they'd stop the run. That's what I think. Billy had a interesting point. Brady's been complaining about some calls here, and he said for a guy that complained about too many flags, wasn't Brady crying for a lot of flags today against this very ref? That's when Brady sent out that tweet about turning off that game for too many penalties. It was this crew. It was the Ed Hockley's kid, that crew. And so now he's crying to Ed Hockley for penalties. Good point by that commenter right there. Josh Asper, he says, does ESPN know their coverage is horrific? Feels like they don't. You don't love this crew, Nick, either?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan. Joe Tessitore in the first half, there's an injury on the field. He says there's an injured player, and they go to break. He doesn't identify the team. He doesn't identify the player, and they go to break, leave you hanging, And at one point, Booger McFarland came out with, I think, the greatest football knowledge of all time when he said, hey, listen, now it's 4th and 3, which is better than 4th and 9, so you could go for it. And I just thought, wow, yes, 4th and 3 is better than 4th and 9 for the offense.
What do you think, before tonight notwithstanding, what did you think of Sam Darnold? What do you think of him?
I like him, and I know I'm going to sound crazy by what you've seen tonight, but I like him. I think he's got to be developed. I think when he was at USC, he suffered from a lot of turnovers. He suffered from some poor mechanics at time and footwork. Those are things that could be developed. Is Adam Gase the guy? I mean, he's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. He whispered Ryan Tannehill right the fuck out of Miami. So I don't know what he's whispering. I have no clue.
Yeah, I think they have the wrong coach. And the coach is going to set him back another couple of years because what's going to happen is they're going to get to the end of the year. They're going to be, 6-10, 5-11. And Gase is going to say, well, I didn't have a quarterback to start the year. And Woody Johnson, the imbecile, is going to give him another year. And they're going to have another 6-10 year. And by the time they figure out it's a coach, there's 2 years lost of Darnold. Who knows what he looks like at the end of that? He's going to get the shit kicked out of him because they obviously can't figure out their protections. And I think this current coach is going to set him back years.
What do you make, Felge, of the decision to keep playing him? I mean, after that 4th pick or whatever it was in the end zone by Terrence Brooks, I thought they should have pulled him. I mean, the guy's telling his teammates and his coaching staff that he's seeing ghosts in the first half, and he's out there throwing the football to the Patriots. Sometimes you're just going to be like, all right, let's try to save this for another day instead of keep this kid in the fire.
Absolutely should have been pulled. It's a good point. Andrew is in Florida on the fan line. Again, that's in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. It's how you can join us on your smartphone. Andrew will join us next, and we'll continue to look at your comments here as well on the live chat. Andrew is in Florida. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, how's it going, boys? Nick, you actually just stole my point. I wonder if Sam Darnold came back a little too early because, yes, he had a decent game last week against a meddling Cowboys team, but this week he comes out and he says, I'm seeing ghosts halfway through the game. And, they kind of haven't adjusted back from that. So I wonder if he's not ready. The mono took a lot out.
So what I think, Andrew, thanks for the call, is that the coach isn't ready. Honestly. I mean, if Darnold's comfortable, you can see what he can do. You saw it last week against Dallas. That's fine. So the Patriots come in with a certain approach. They can't block it, and he has no chance. And I think it starts with that. If you put Sam Darnold in the situation Jimmy Garoppolo's in right now, where he's got a great defense and a good offensive coach, and it's all managed for him, nice and neat, I think Sam Darnold will be winning games and look like a normal quarterback.
Yeah.
He has no chance with this group that he's with right here.
I mean, he has Jamison Crowder early in the season, the first couple of games. Jamison Crowder was getting a ton of targets, and there was obvious chemistry between Darnold and Crowder. And tonight, I think Crowder's been targeted once, and he's a slot guy. He's quick off the line of scrimmage. He's somebody when your quarterback is getting murdered in the pocket from the blitz, throw a couple of footballs to Crowder, bubble screens. Try to get him out in space. Try to get some movement downfield with your offense. It's like, all right, so we've got a team that's going, blitzing. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our quarterback stand back in the pocket and try to let routes develop, and we're not blocking anybody. It's an absolute nightmare.
We've gotten a lot of comments on Mike Nugent tonight. Like he's had some sort of special night that deserves mention because he's made his extra points.
I don't know. This kid, this tight end, this Tomlinson, I think it's Tomlinson. I just saw the back of his jersey for the first time tonight. He stinks. They had a wham block. He totally ripped on the wham block. He had a holding call earlier on a decent run. I don't know how long he's going to be on the roster. He's not impressive so far, but. Oof. So,
again, for all of you texting in on Mike Nugent, yes, he was fine. He made his extra points. He made the short field goal. It's a perfect night on AstroTurf. If your kicker makes his kicks, I don't mention it. Do that on your own time. If he sucks, then we'll bring it up. Let's grab Josh and Haverhill. He's up next here on the fan line. There was a comment there from Lorraine that said, I said this was going to be a close game. No, Lorraine, that was my partner, Tony Maz. Okay.
I said it was going to be close too, so I'm an idiot.
Jets are not ready to compete with you. What's up, Josh?
Felgy Kettles, what up, baby?
What's up?
Yeah,
What's
I just
up,
want
buddy?
to say, yeah, I mean, I don't think this game proves anything about needing wide receiver or not, because I'm with you, Felgy. It's pretty much like a throwaway, and you got pissed at me, Felgy, when on the radio when I was saying that they might go 12-4, and that wasn't good enough or anything, but ultimately I was just worried about the number 1 seed, and when Mahomes,
you got it, big.
When Mahomes gets back, they're going to be right there. I think they'll be able to maintain and went back healthier.
Josh, I don't think you have anything to worry about with the number 1 seed. I don't think you have a thing to worry about at all. You got 2 games on Kansas City, and you're playing them at home. And Mahomes is going to miss the next 2 to 3 games. I think that's a walk away. And you're not losing 4 games. 14-2 at worst is this team.
Yeah, I'm with you. And with the Browns and Ravens, do you see that Browns game being legit? Do you see that being anything? Or?
Okay, Josh, thanks for the call. I'll drop you an answer. I think next week's going to be another epic blowout like this one, because I think the coaching mismatch, as bad as the coaching mismatch was tonight, I think it might even be worse next week. I think Freddie Kitchens might be even more of a coaching mismatch. So I think you're going to blow the Browns out of the building next week. And then Baltimore will be interesting, but I don't really believe in Lamar Jackson. Call me crazy.
I'm with you. I railed on him.
He had more rushing attempts and completions in that game yesterday. I just don't think that holds up. I don't think you win with that.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game yesterday. I see a good bit of the Ravens down here because, there's a lot of Ravens fans in Virginia, so I get to see them play more often than I'd like to. And, I actually agree with you about Jackson. He's not developed from the pocket yet, and everybody falls in love. And if you watch the national media, they're going to kiss his ass. But, yesterday he had 2 big runs on broken plays. And the Seahawks were getting way too downfield. They weren't doing simple things like containing him when that's the strength of his game. And I think, the Ravens play the Patriots, you're going to see them lay back. They're going to say, okay, try to beat us from the pocket. You're not going to run 10 yards, 15 yards a carry. It's not happening. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that against this defense especially.
We just had a comment about Brandon Bolden tonight. I think he deserves mention. I think he's been great. That catch he made along the sidelines on that back shoulder throw in the first half was tremendous. He's a factor in the passing game.
Yeah, and I was wrong. I put on social media earlier how wrong I was about him. I thought he was just a special teams guy, 53rd man on the roster. I'd be the dude yelling at clouds when they'd hand him the football, not understanding why he was getting any snaps. But he's proven me wrong. He is useful. He's a useful piece on the offense. He's proven he can catch the football. He's proven he can get some extra yardage. And, I think that him, Jacoby Myers, and Ben Watson tonight, especially in the first half with Watson, the silver lining of a blowout like this is you're getting those guys reps, and they're being able to show you what they can do. So hopefully later in the year when you're playing against better competition, if you have to lean on Ben Watson for a big third down play, he's already proven he can do that.
Stephen Carver, Cam, let's pop him up. He's up next on the fan line. And again, I'm continuing to just work my way through your chats. We'll answer those questions as well. But Stephen Carver, what's up, Steve?
Felger, we've been through so many blowouts with this team on the national stage. But isn't it so much more rewarding when they're winning these games on defense? It's instead of these 41-28 games that they used to win where the defense sucked. Like, the fact that Belichick is coaching this team, this might be his greatest coaching job of all time when you consider what he's done last year in the playoffs and with this team so far. I think I go back to when Flores left and they didn't name a defensive coordinator. I was kind of confused. I thought, okay, it's Mayo. It doesn't seem like it's Mayo. It seems like it's Belichick hands-on. I don't know if you guys saw this when the Patriots were up, I think 24-0. Belichick had the entire defense around him, and he was going over
I have a theory. What do you think it was about?
I think it was stopping Le'Veon Bell, but I just think Belichick is more engaged than ever, and this is the best defensive coaching job he's ever done.
No, so he did that, Steve, and I'll drop you. Thanks for the call. He did that after the Jets moved down into your territory on a roughing the passer call on Shelton, a deep pass interference on Jackson, his third, And I think there was another penalty in there. I think there were 2 penalties and the roughing the passer, and it got the Jets all the way to the 10-yard line. And then there was another end zone pick. And my guess is Belichick gathered them around and said, the only fucking way this team is scoring is if that asshole Hockey's kid, you give that Hockey the excuse to move him down the field. They're calling stuff. This is an over-officious crew. They call ticky-tack stuff. If you don't commit penalties, the Jets aren't doing anything. And that would be my guess because there were 3 penalties on that drive, I believe.
Yeah, the Patriots, 2 of them was on J.C. Jackson, who's had 3 tonight. He's, I don't know if he had the Jets +9 or what's going on with him tonight. But when you look at this defense, a couple of things. And I agree with you, by the way. I think it was about the 39 yards and penalties in that drive. But when you look at this defense, yes, Belichick is going to be there. He's going to be hands-on. To me, that's a little dramatic. I mean, let's give the credit to this very, very veteran defense. They've got a lot of guys on this defense that have played a long time in the league, a lot of guys that have been in this system for a while. It's a perfect storm. You've got Belichick tweaking and keeping an eye on everything. You have a deep defense at every level, which they haven't had in years. And you have guys that are cohesive that have played together. Remember, Felger, going back a couple of years ago, how shitty it was at the beginning of the year. The communication, they had no idea what each guy was doing and what they were trying to do. They're on the same page. They know each other, they're comfortable, and they're smart. And when you combine that with Belichick, along with talent, that's when you have what you have with this defense.
Make no mistake. Nothing gets Belichick to pull it out, if you know what I mean, more than being it always means a lot to him. Let's grab on the fan line right here. This is in the long history of the Felger Maserati radio program and all the interns that we've had. There's been one kid that has stood up among the rest, and that is Tucker. Is this Tucker? What is up, Tucker? What's up?
How's it going?
How you doing, man? You do work for Barstool, don't you?
I did this past summer. Right now, I'm kind of just freewheeling, do my own thing. But I did all summer stats page for them, so that was good. Yeah.
And what happened with that? How come you don't do it still?
Well, I told them I was going to take a hiatus for the beginning of the school year because it took a lot of my time and very easily distracted.
Oh, fuck school. Barstool far more important. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you have to talk to my parents about that.
Oh, come on. Tell them to lighten up a little bit. Anyway, Nick, what do you got?
So here's what I'd say. First of all, on the defense, I think the raw numbers are impressive, but arguably the more impressive thing that we've seen so far is how they've done what they've done to these quarterbacks relative to what those quarterbacks have done the rest of the year. Because
Give me some numbers. Come on.
So coming into this game, quarterbacks who started a game versus the Patriots had a 1-in-12 touchdown to interception ratio facing the Patriots and an 11-10 touchdown to interception ratio facing everybody else.
That's
they had
great.
82.7 rating facing everybody else, 42.3. And tonight, Sam Darnold's got a 2.8 against the Patriots. He's like 97, 98 this year against everybody else. So the biggest, starkest difference to me has been how everybody's done, even relative to the rest of the competition, because that's really the telltale when you face this garbage competition. That's what you got to look at. And that's why, I guess, to segue a little bit, I'm not super worried about the offense. I think the Brandon Boldens, I think the Ben Watsons of the world can piece it together in a way that'll let the offense work enough. I don't need that big, sexy weapon. I don't need them to go out and shell out assets to get Emmanuel Sanders. If they have this defense on the field and with the affordability of this defense, there are like 2 guys being paid in the top 10 of their position, and it's Gilmore and Hightower. So I would say I'm not too worried about getting a big, sexy receiving option. And I think the most impressive thing about the defense has been how it's done relative to what those quarterbacks have done against everybody else.
Love it, Tucker. Thanks for checking in, kid. Take care of yourself.
Oh,
see ya. Is Belichick challenging a play up 33-0 with 7 minutes left in this fucking ball game? Did I just see it?
Listen.
And he caught the ball. What are we doing?
Felger, he's getting bored. He's got to do something here. There's 7 minutes left. He wants to feel like he's still involved in the game. Might as well throw the challenge flag. I agree with Tucker, though, about, we talked about this a little bit, you and I, the last time we did this. Everybody talks about the competition. And listen, there's absolutely zero denying that their schedule has been cupcake, right? But it's what this defense is doing and how they're dominating the competition versus what this competition is doing against other defenses and other teams. And, I think they're dominating at such a ridiculous level that's why they're legitimate. Now, when the schedule gets tougher, yeah, but I think they'll give Baker Mayfield some fits. I think they'll give Lamar Jackson some fits. And the last time we seen him play against Patrick Mahomes, they did a really good job against him in the first half. It kind of fell apart in the second half a little bit with some big plays, but they were the only team to show at least some life to settle down Mahomes for a half last year. So, hey, it is. They're talented, man.
So why is Bill challenging that? A commenter said, Garland says he wants to preserve the shutout. No question. He wants to take a steaming shit on the Jets. He hates the Hockey League kid. That's why he challenged. I don't think he hates the Hockey League. I think Bill was actually okay with that Hockey League. I don't know how he feels about the kid, but I think he was okay with the old man. No,
well, they're still blitzing all out 33-0.
Exactly. They want a shutout because that's what Bill likes to do against New York.
Unbelievable.
Mike and Weymouth is going to join us next. On the fan line, Felger here in Boston, Nick Cattles, ESPN Radio down in Virginia Beach. He's a Rhode Island kid. He's an honorary Massimo Patriots fan. What's up, Mike?
Hey, so, this has been a disgrace if you're a Jets fan. I think Sam Darnold's done. I think this is his career. You can't say that on national television that you're seeing ghosts. That's it. You're done. Kaput. Goodbye. I mean, he sucks. No, I was going to say that was a nice throw, but he sucks. The real reason why I called is I think this David Andrews center, missing him as the center, is becoming a bigger story. They can't run. They cannot run the ball at all. I think, is it Ted or Tony? Karras?
I think it's Ted Karras.
Yeah, Ted Karras.
He sucks. He is terrible. That one replay of him trying to run and catch the guy that's about to sack Brady or something like that. I think it was in the second quarter. I think that's not a big enough story with this offensive line.
Thanks for calling in. I think it's fair. They have not gotten the ground game going all season long. And you talk to – not that I'm not breaking down the all-22 with the interior line play, but folks like Bedard will tell you that the number one issue is center and that Karras is not athletic enough to get out to the second level, and that's been the biggest problem with the running game, Ted Karras.
Yeah, and I mean, they try to address some other offensive line stuff. Who's the guy they got from the Bills? That was a waste. They traded for him, then released him within a week.
Yeah.
Bodine, that guy Bodine, they acquired him, and he didn't help out at all. They let him go within a few days. The offensive line is an issue, but I still believe that Dante Scarnecchia will coach these guys up. I think the Isaiah Wynn thing is huge. If Wynn comes back and he's healthy, he was off to a great start at left tackle this year. If he could come back healthy, that will give them a boost. But it's absolutely, to me, the question mark right now for this team.
Jesus, you see that throw?
Yeah.
He just overthrew Robbie Anderson by, I think, 15 yards.
Hey, I want a shout out to Adam Gase for leaving Le'Veon Bell and Darnold in this game down fucking 33. Good. Just stay. Build the confidence, Gase. Build the confidence, baby.
Kenneth, yes, it is a big boy Tuesday tomorrow, just to answer your question. And Mike and Weymouth had an interesting point. Like, this is the kind of game that could – I don't know if it's going to ruin Sam Darnold. He's 25 years old or whatever. He's got a long career ahead of him. But this one's going to leave a mark for him and his coach.
And listen, it might be – it's – all right, so this might be reaching a bit.
I know he's 22, not 25. Either way, Brian, go ahead.
This might be a slight reach on my part, but – you got the guy coming back from mono. I know he played last week. Belichick's history against young quarterbacks, this stud defense. If I'm the Jets, I'm not allowing my quarterback to be mic'd up because I don't want a moment to happen like happened tonight. He says he's seeing ghosts. That was all over social media within 2 seconds. That's going to be played tomorrow 150,000 times on radio. And I'm not putting a mic on that guy when he's going against this defense. Did you see it, Felger, when Gase was talking to him?
Yes.
Towards the end of the first half?
We get the ball to start the third quarter. Absolutely.
Oh, my God. Talk about trying to talk his quarterback down. And then he just keeps him in the game as he continues to melt. If I'm a Jets fan, I am livid at this coaching staff. And I'm livid at the quarterback second. But, man.
I think it's a great point, Nick. What the fuck are you doing? Second-year quarterback, Monday Night Football against the Patriots, putting a mic on him.
Yep.
Seriously, like, are you dialed in? Are you? Oh, it's an excellent point.
Hey, can I just say this once too? Like, if there's one thing that has driven me crazy about Belichick since he's been in New England is what he's doing right now.
Brady in the game with 5 minutes left.
Not only Brady in the game with 5 minutes left, up 33 zip, and I know you got to play 60 bullshit minutes, right? But if you're going to be in the game, hand it off. Like, here he is, shotgun formation, throwing the Jacoby Myers in the flat. It's just like, what are we trying? We're running reverses with Julian fucking Edelman.
Right, he's hurt, right.
Their best receiver. Let's run a fucking reverse with 5 minutes to go, up 33. Like, I get it. Finish the game, but you know, it's been a point with me for 20 years, and it's going to continue to be a point. I know he's the greatest coach of all time. He should have fucking played Butler against Philly, and he should take Brady out of games like this. Give me a break.
Brian in Indianapolis is up next on the fan line. Strong showing tonight, folks, on the fan line for such a disaster of a game. I'm surprised. We've gotten the reaction, but it's good to have. Brian in Indianapolis is up next. Hi, Brian. What do you got?
Hey, happy to be with you guys, and I agree. What is Brady still doing in this game? Like, what is going on there? But I just wanted to you guys missed probably because it's 33-0 and it was a punt. But Gase didn't the penalty on that. His false started on purpose on that punt, and that was hilarious. And Belichick was literally stone-faced laughing. Like, his mouth was kind of like twerked to the side, and he was laughing his ass off without showing any teeth. So check out that replay on that for tomorrow.
No, wait. They intentionally jumped off sides because they wanted to go back 5 yards?
They wanted to go back 5 yards in the punt. It was amazing.
That was like when Brandon Bolden looked like Michael Jackson. He was moonwalking. Was that the?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Bolden on that play. They took a delay of game, and Gase declined it, and Belichick wanted the 5 yards, so he had Bolden dance around and take a false start. And then they showed Belichick just laughing with a straight face on the sideline. It was incredible.
Thank you for that call, Brian. I'm going to back it up and catch up on that.
And I was just gonna say this. You've got your rookie running back activated tonight. You're up 33-0. 4 minutes to go. You've got Michelle in the game, and he just got hurt on that carry. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a significant injury, but that's what I'm talking about. Why don't you put Harris out there, give him a couple of carries, get him into a game. Running back with Burkhead being hurt, you're playing Bolden a lot. We talked about trying to save James White for later in the season. I mean, what are we doing?
Fair point, Cattles. What can I tell you? I think it's a good one.
He's in now after fucking Michelle got hurt. He said, there he is. Day late and $1 short.
Brady in the shotgun, 2nd and 14.
Unbelievable. They've got Brady out there with Gunnar Olszewski, or whatever the hell his name is, and Damian Harris. Like, what? Like, what are we doing? If you're the coaching staff, you got to look around and say, what are we doing right now?
Josh says Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brissett combined 17-2 this year. Cattles, you can only have one: Jacoby Brissett or Jimmy Garoppolo. Who are you taking?
From what I've seen, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, from what I've seen, that San Francisco team right now is all defense, all offensive play calling by Shanahan in run game. Garoppolo, they're not even really attempting to put games in his hands right now. And until I see him play against a really good team and the game is on him and he performs, I know his overall record. I know that. But go game by game and you look at the competition he's played against and you look at what he's done in those games and what they've asked of him this year. I was sitting at my bar 2 Sundays ago with a San Fran fan. He's a regular at the bar. And he told me straight up, he said, Jimmy G right now, he said, Garoppolo's a game manager. That's what San Fran fans call him right now. He's a game manager right now. He might be better. He might get better. I mean, he might get better, and I don't doubt he's got potential, but I think he's been overrated, and we'll see what happens. Harris, nice run here.
So I go Garoppolo all day on that one, Cattles. I think that, especially if I'm picking the quarterback for the Patriots, because I think the quick release, got good accuracy in the short game. I think he's coachable. I think he'd be perfect for Bill Belichick. I think you'd win a crap ton of games with Jimmy Garoppolo being coached by Bill Belichick. So I'm with you on Garoppolo this year. I think people forget he's coming off an ACL, and most quarterbacks coming off an ACL are not good their next year.
Fair point.
He's got a lot of spots where he has not been good. But just that overall thing about being a game manager, I like game managers. I have no problem with game managers. Let's grab Brian in Honolulu. Yes, we're even getting from Hawaii. Brian in Honolulu will join us next, and I'm going to bug out at the 2-minute warning because I don't go inside of 2 minutes on games like this. And Jackson Berrio just off the punt. What's up, Brian? How you doing?
Good. Hey, quick question. Jacoby Myers, is it McDaniels or Brady that every time I see him, he looks great, and then he disappears for half of the quarter? What's going on there? Do you think it's a scheme, or do you think it's Brady?
I think Brady doesn't want to throw to young guys, and I think Brady doesn't look to him a lot. He's starting to, and he'll look to him more. But I think the reluctance starts with Brady, not the coaching staff, Brian.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, man. Thank you. So I just think Brady he's an agent. He doesn't want to coach these guys. He doesn't want to mentor them. He doesn't want to bring them along. He feels like it's not his job, which is kind of disappointing, Nick. I think it should be part of the job. I watch the Packers quite a bit, and I think, and finally Brady's out of the game. And I watch Aaron Rodgers. He's throwing to all sorts of new guys, different guys, and I don't feel like there's quite as much angst as there is here in New England with Brady and his new players. I wish Brady were a little more accepting of the young guys and worked with them a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good relationship with Malcolm Mitchell. He seemed to have a pretty decent relationship with N'Keal Harry before he got hurt. But he has to absolutely have more trust in these guys, and I'm hopeful that Jacoby Myers, that's what's happening. The last couple of weeks, he played a good amount of snaps in the first half. So I think you're starting to see that develop. We'll see how he reacts to Harry when he comes back.
Okay, folks, we're going to shut it down here at the 2-minute warning. I'm not going inside 2 minutes on this big show. It's Damon Harris loses 4 yards running sideways. Nick, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll catch you down the line. Next game will be Patriots and Browns. On paper, look like an interesting game to start the year. I'll just tell you, final thought. I think they're going to take a steaming dump on the Browns like they took on the It's the same thing. It's a coaching mismatch. I think Kitchens and Mayfield are going to have their heads spinning. They won't be able to score, and it'll be something similar to this.
The one thing I would say is, and listen, Kitchens has been bad, but Cleveland did have the bye week. So if there's going to be a week when Kitchens comes in with a halfway decent game plan, it might be this week because they're off the bye.
Okay, Nick. Thank you again, folks. For the fourth quarter of the Browns game. See ya.